Hello, in this video we're going to cover Understand Wide Area Networks, or WANs, and this is one of the objectives of the MTA Networking Fundamentals certification. So in talking about our wide area networks, mostly what you're going to be expected to know for the exam is our internet connections. And so we're just going to talk real quick about some of the different types of connections that we have, and these would be the actual connection that we're given by our ISP or internet service provider to connect from our computer or our network to the internet. The first one that we're going to talk about is dial-up. So dial-up is a very slow connection that comes in over a standard telephone line. This kind of connection would not be what I would consider a modern connection. This would not support HTML email. So we're talking about very basic email. This would not support video conferencing. It would not support streaming media such as music or videos. It also would take an extremely long time to download song files, even just images, like fairly small images would take a long time to download over dial-up. So this would not be something that we would want to use. However, there still are some places that cannot, because they're very remote. They cannot be serviced by some of the other connections, and so dial-up is their only option. The dial-up connection actually uses a device called a modem, and that's just kind of a mashup of the words modulator, demodulator. And what that device does is it actually converts the data from a digital signal to an analog signal. And the reason is when we're sending traffic over our phone line, the phone line transmits on with what's called an analog signal, and so that's just the kind of the raw the raw frequency of the sound that's just being transmitted over the wire. And with a computer, we need a digital signal, zeros and ones. And so that modulator, demodulator, or modem, it takes the analog signal coming in from our ISP and it converts it into a digital signal. And then when it's leaving our computer out to the internet, it converts it from a digital signal back to an analog signal. The next connection type that we want to talk about is ISDN. And ISDN stands for Integrated Services Digital Network. This actually came a little bit later, and as we can see, it uses two 64 kilobit per second channels, and so we get 128 kilobits per second on our connection speed. Still significantly below what we would expect for a modern transmission. Even like most of our phones, we can get well over that, more in like the megabits per second, just with a standard data connection. Some other things that we want to talk about is a leased line. So you'll actually see a lot of questions about this on the test. So a leased line is where we actually have a line that is run by a telco company or some other sort of infrastructure company, and they actually lay a line or a cable between two or more points, and then they lease the use of that line to someone. In the United States, we have the leased lines that we have are called T1 and T3. In Europe, they're called E1 and E3, and we'll go over a little bit more about their specifications of those in a little bit in a slide later on in this presentation. The next one that we want to talk about is a digital subscriber line, or DSL. Digital subscriber line is where we're sending high-speed digital connection over a dedicated phone line, and so this is going to come from the phone wall jack that you have through an existing telephone network. And what we do with this DSL is typically we're going to use, so remember the telephone line, as we talked about with the dial-up connection, it sends the signal, the voices, over a analog signal. And typically it's compressed, and so it's a very narrow bandwidth, and like the human ear is only capable of hearing a very small spectrum of the audible bandwidth. And so what we do with DSL is we actually we send another signal that's much higher over the phone line, along with the regular voice information that's being transmitted, and then there's typically a filter on our side that filters out the high pass. But it's a very high frequency that we would send through that, and then the modem or the modulator demodulator on the other side just strips away that top frequency and uses that to send the digital connection. And these are actually significantly faster than any of the connections that we discussed before. And then we have cable broadband. This is internet connection where we're sending it over the coaxial cable, and the coax cable is typically coming in through our cable television provider. So now we're going to take a look at leased lines, and so as I said, we're going to look at the T1, T3, E1, and E3. And what you're going to want to know for these is the number of channels and then the speed that we see through it. So the T1 connection is going to use 24 channels, and that's going to get us up to 1.54 megabits per second. Again, not a screaming rate compared to some of the things that we see, but still, I mean, and especially for when this standard was invented, it was considerably faster than the other connections available. And then a T3 line, we're basically going to take 28 T1 lines and bind them together. So we're going to have 272 channels, giving us a total of 44.736 megabits per second. And then, so these would be our US, the lines that would be available in the United States, the T1 and the T3. And then over in Europe, the counterparts would be E1 and E3. And so the E1 connection is going to have 32 channels and transmits at 2.048 megabits per second. And the E3 connection, that's actually going to be 16 E1 lines put together for 512 channels and a total of 34.368 megabits per second. Now we're going to take a look at some advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages of a dial-up connection is that there over the decades, the telephone companies have pretty much run a telephone line to pretty much everywhere that there is. There are very few places, especially in the United States, where you cannot get a telephone line. The disadvantage is this is a very slow connection compared to other alternatives. The advertised rate for most dial-up connections is 54 kilobytes per second. Typically, what you're going to see is more around the neighborhood of 38 kilobytes per second. And so, as we'll see as we go on to some of these other ones, that is really that is not the kind of speed that we would want to use to try to use modern networking. Next, we've got ISDN. So again, the advantages are there's a widespread telephone coverage, and typically the ISDN channels would be they were run along with the telephone cable. So because we have a widespread coverage of this infrastructure, it makes it easier to get an ISDN. The disadvantages is, again, we still have a very slow speed. This is 128 kilobits per second. So again, not megabits, but kilobits. With the leased line, so now the advantages are, again, we saw that so we'll just take a look at the disadvantages first. So now it's very slow. So like the slow speed, we've got around 44 megabits per second for that T3 line. So it's not as fast as like a DSL or a cable modem. But the advantage is that this is a direct connection, and the line is leased, so it's not shared. So what that means is, like with a cable broadband, we're going to share that connection with all of the other cable customers in the area. Whereas with a leased line, if we are the only person that is leasing that line, we get all 44 megabits per second for our traffic. There's nobody else that's going to use that, and it is a direct line. So we're not sending this out, through multiple routers and different different destinations to get to from one location to the other. It's just a straight shot. And something that you're going to want to know about leased lines for the test is just the speeds from the slowest to fastest is going to be T1, E1, E3, and then T3. So again, that's T1 being the slowest, T3 being the fastest, and then E1 and E3 in the middle. DSL, something that you're going to want to know about DSL is we actually have two different kinds of DSL. We have asynchronous DSL, and this is what we're typically going to see. And with asynchronous DSL, we're going to have higher download speeds and slower upload speeds. And this is very common for residential or small business traffic. And the reason is most people are actually downloading lots of information, but not uploading a lot. And so what the telephone companies are doing here is they're limiting the speed that you can use to upload, because you're not gonna upload a lot of files very often, and then giving you a higher download speed. And so this preserves some of their bandwidth, that they don't have to designate to you. And so, like, again, we're typically going to see asynchronous DSL if you have DSL. Now, there is another type, and that's called synchronous DSL. And that's where we see the exact same speed for download and upload traffic. This is more expensive, and again, because what we're asking that telephone company to do is to designate more of that bandwidth for our channel. We're typically only going to see this for certain commercial applications. The advantages of DSL is very fast transmission speeds compared to other connections. The disadvantage is that it's only available in close proximity to the telecommunications offices. And the reason is that DSL, it operates quicker the closer you are to the office. So as your home or your business, your office gets further and further away from that telecommunications office, the speed of that DSL actually slows down until we get to a point where it's no longer even supported. And so again, the disadvantage is that if you're not close to that telecommunications hub, you may not even be able to get DSL, or if you do, it will be significantly slower. Then we have cable broadband. The advantage for cable broadband is it's easy to add a signal. We typically see this bundled in. And the reason is because we're going to see this coming from our cable television companies, and they've already got the coaxial cable there, and they're able to train, and they're already using broadband function by sending multiple channels through that one coaxial channel. So it's not really a big deal for them to just add some more channels in there for that digital signal. And so what we see is that it's very common for a cable TV provider to, for a very small nominal fee, add in that internet service, because they already have the cable infrastructure run. It's just a matter of whether or not they turn on the access for that customer. And a lot of times it can be faster than DSL. The disadvantage is that it's only available where cable television lines have been established. So if there aren't any cable lines run to where you are, you can't get the cable broadband. Another disadvantage is that it is what we call a shared bandwidth. So everybody that's connected to, like here in the area, we have Spectrum. So everybody that has Spectrum is sharing that same bandwidth. And so when you get peak times, so like, a lot of people are on, in the mid evenings, so you're going to see that bandwidth reduced, and because a lot more people are using it, and the speeds are going to slow. However, the speeds that we see on cable broadband are still typically, even when they're slower, are still typically faster than DSL connections. So that is the objective of Understand Wide Area Networks, or WANs, for the MTA certification.